Today I want to talk to you about the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card. How do you apply for this card and get approved with a FICO score that starts at 600? Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweaty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's discussion, I want to talk to you about the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card, how to apply and get approved with minimum FICO score of 600. First, you need to understand the card details, okay? So this is a great credit card, and this is actually the best PenFed credit card for everyday cashback rewards, giving at least 1.5 to 2% cashback on all purchases, in addition to PenFed's customary initial rewards bonus, $100 for spending $1,500 in the first 90 days. This is really good. And this card is especially great for members who are part of the PenFed Honors Advantage program and who will earn a full 2% cashback on all purchases. Plus, the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa has a $0 annual fee and a promotional balance transfer offer. So this is really good. So you're thinking about earning cash back for everyday purchases, no caps, no limits, no gimmicks, okay? There's no annual fee. The purchase variable APR goes from $14.99 to $17.99%. This is really great. 2% cash back on all purchases if you are a PenFed Honor Advantage member, and 1.5% on all purchases made with your card. This is really wonderful, and we love the fact that you have a 0% for 12 months, and of course there is a for balance transfers, but there is a 3% that applies to each transaction, okay? And there are no foreign transaction fees. So this is actually overall a great card, okay? Let me give you a few more highlights. You have 0% for 12 months on balance transfers. You have, now, you might need to have excellent credit. You can qualify for a FICO score that goes all the way to 600. However, if you want a higher credit card limits on this Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature, you better have at least 700, okay? And you also need to think about membership eligibility requirements. Now, you don't need to be affiliated with the military to qualify for membership. However, they want you to be able to be in a position to fund a savings account with at least $5. You must be a U.S. citizen or permanent U.S. resident. You must have a government-issued photo ID. This is important, and you must be at least 18 years old. Okay, and so once you have all these things, you just contact them. You want to call maybe you want to call a PenFed, and you want to provide your information, your social, and all that kind of stuff. They will let you in, and that's it. So number one, you need to know the card details. This is important. Number two, you want to know your FICO score. So the minimum on this card is 600. The higher, the better. Okay, and make sure that you basically check your FICO score to ensure there are no errors. This is important, folks, because the APR that you're getting and the credit card limit that you're getting on this card will totally depend on your FICO score as well as your monetary assets. So what you want to do is you want to check your FICO score. You can check it for free. No need to pay. No need to spend money on this. There are several websites that you can go to get a free copy of your credit reports. I'm speaking about your 3 credit reports, your reports from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Okay. First, you can go to annualcreditreport.com. This is what this platform was mandated by Congress to make sure that once a year, at least once a year, borrowers have the ability to see what's in their credit report. So go there and just sign up. It's free, totally free, once a year. Or if you have been denied for a credit card or for a loan, you can also check your credit report for free. It's all free. And you can also go to private parties, private companies such as Credit Karma. You have Wallet Hub. You have CreditWise. You have Experian. You have NerdWallet. They all give you access to your FICO score for free. Of course, in exchange for your private data. They want your personal data so that they can serve you some ads. That's just the way it is, okay? So as long as you're okay with that, that's totally fine. And for example, if you want to, for example, Experian has a service called CreditWorks, and they have a free version and they have a paid version. And if you go with the free version, you can check your credit report, your credit score. You have access to those two metrics. If you have some changes in your credit score, they will alert you. You can fix mistakes on your credit. You can remove derogatory items, if any, and this is good. And one thing I want to say here is that in terms of us evaluating your FICO, make sure you do this at least 3 to 6 months before you apply for the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card. This is important. That way you have enough chance to fix whatever is going on. You have enough time to bump up your credit score, enough time to increase your revenue. You have enough time to establish some history with PenFed as well, because you got to be a member of the credit union, but you also need to have that history. You can't just be like, you can't open an account and after 3 months apply for this card and expect to be approved unless you have stellar credits. You have stellar credit in terms of your FICO score, but also in terms of your monetary assets. Number 3, let me talk to you about eligibility, folks. So, as I said before, anyone can join PenFed. So, PenFed membership is free. You don't need to be affiliated with the military geographically, biographically, biologically, or professionally. No, you don't have to do that, and you can actually you're in. Okay. However, you must be a U.S. citizen or green card holder. You must be able to fund a savings account with at least $5. It's important. You need to provide your social security number or ITIN. Okay, and so basically, if you are not a U.S. citizen or green card holder, but you do have a business in the States or you work here and you have an ITIN, an individual tax identification number, you can qualify. Okay, and you need to have a FICO of a 600 at least, income $18,000 gross annual. So that's the minimum here. We're speaking about $1,500 every month gross. That's pre-tax income. I'm not saying that you will have the highest limit if you make $18,000, but those are the minimums. You need to be 18 or 21 years, depending on the states you're applying from. And PenFed wants to make sure that you have a stable history of employment. So they will look at, it's not really a problem if you're a full-time, part-time, or seasonal worker. It doesn't matter. What matters is more the stability of your finances and the stability of your employment. Okay, and the job that you have must be verifiable. In other words, you must be able to provide W-2s, 1099s. You must be able to provide your tax returns so that PenFed can trace your income on your tax return back to your income on your W-2s and 1099s. It's all about traceability. It's all about monitoring here, okay? And co-applications are possible. So if you realize that you probably don't have a 600 in FICO, you probably have 550 or 545 or 520 or anything lower, but you have a partner, you have a spouse, or you have a relative, or you have a friend who is willing to co-apply with you, and that person has a high FICO score, then go ahead and co-apply. Okay, and because that way you can boost your chances of approval. One thing I also want to say here is that you also need to think about your I'll speak about that later on, but you also need to think about your overall financial picture. So when we speak about financial picture, we're not just talking about your income. We're speaking about your TTI. We're speaking about your credit utilization ratio. We're talking about your cash inflows and cash outflows. We're speaking about your past history, your past credit history. Have you filed for bankruptcy lately? Are you on the verge of filing for bankruptcy? Or, what's going on in your credit history that could disqualify you from getting this credit card? I want to talk to you about DTI and CUR. I just mentioned that a few seconds ago. So it's important for PenFed that you maintain higher levels of DTI and CUR. By higher levels, I'm talking about lower amounts. So when we talk about DTI and CUR, so DTI, by the way, stands for debt to income ratio, and CUR stands for credit utilization ratio. So the better metrics here should be lower. So the lower, the better. Okay, that's what I meant. So if you want to improve your credit utilization ratio, pay down debts. You want to reduce your credit card balances by paying more than the minimum each month. You want to refinance credit card debt with the personal loan if possible. Ask for a higher credit limit. You want to apply for another card. You want to leave cards open after paying them off, okay? So what I'm trying to say is if you want to paint a wonderful picture for PenFed to see before approving you for this card, then you really want to improve your credit utilization ratio, your CUR. Very, very important. As a matter of fact, your CUR accounts for 30% of your FICO score. Think about it, 30%. I mean, the only one that's above it is your payment history that comes in at 35%. So those two, your payment history and credit utilization ratio, actually account for nearly 2/3 of your FICO score. Think about that. That's just mind-boggling, right? So that makes it very important. That makes the CUR very important in terms of maintaining a high FICO score, okay? And also boosting your chances of being approved by PenFed in terms of your Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card. And you also need to think about lowering your DTI. So for your CUR, if you can maintain a CUR of 35% or less, that's really great. And a DTI, the same thing, your debt to income ratio, the lower, the better. You probably want to have a 30 to 35% DTI. That's really good. I mean, PenFed loves that. They love borrowers with low DTI because that signals financial responsibility, that signals creditworthiness, okay? Pay off your loans ahead of schedule. You want to target debt with the highest bill to balance ratio. You want to actually negotiate a higher salary or just maybe earning some extra money with a side hustle. You know, if you have a side gig, you want to ramp up on your Amazon sales or your Etsy sales or your eBay sales. You can use a balance transfer to lower interest rates also, and you can refinance your debt with a new lender. Okay, so this is really good. And you also need to find ways to decrease your debt and increase your income in general. Okay, so your debt to income ratio is basically the result of those two things, those two metrics. You need to decrease your debt, increase your income, and this can make or break your application for a credit card or for a loan for that matter. Okay, so those are really important. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sorty Kiwi Show. In today's conversation, we are still talking about the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card, how to apply and get approval with a FICO score of 600 minimum. And step number 5, you really need to beef up your history with PenFed. Now, not only your history with PenFed, but also your history of credit applications. When was the last time you got a credit card with PenFed? Was it 3 months ago, 6 months ago? Because PenFed has restrictions as to the frequency of approving you for credit cards. Normally, you are limited to 3 credit cards with PenFed, and so it's important to know the last time you got a credit card with PenFed because you want to wait a little. You want to be patient. How many PenFed credit cards do you currently have? As I said, if you have 3 already, you're not going to qualify for another one. Ideally, you want to have 2. Because 3 already has, it's just putting you, unless you love PenFed, unless you do everything PenFed, you want to diversify, okay? How many credit cards do you have in general? Is your wallet heavy with credit cards, or your wallet is just empty? If you have 6, 7, or 10 credit cards, do you think is it worth it to apply for another one? Okay. Talk to me about that. How many PenFed loans and other credit products do you currently have besides credit cards? What I'm trying to say here is you want to evaluate your exposure. You want to evaluate your exposure to PenFed. And PenFed is doing the same thing. They're looking at their systems and saying, oh, okay, this person, we already have a lot of credit products with him or her. What if he or she defaults? That's a large loss for us. So this could be a problem. What are your outstanding debts? Are you currently just crumbling under the weight of debt, or you're just fine? And this goes back to what I said earlier about your DTI, right? Your debt to income ratio. If you have a low DTI, that means that you can manage your debt. And when did you last get a credit limit increase or credit card upgrades with PenFed? Same story here. PenFed loves it when the borrowers wait for 3 to 6 months before applying for new credit products. So if you let's say you got a credit limit increase, which is another event, another credit event, you want to wait for 3 or 6 months. Don't apply every month. or every quarter for that matter. This will signal to PenFed that you really need money, and this could be a sign of financial trouble, and they don't want that. And if you want to get this card, folks, you also need to pay attention to your MPR. The length of your membership history is important, but the strength and the depth of your membership history is also critical. So when we talk about the depth of your history with PenFed, we are speaking about your MPR, your multi-product relationship with the institution. Okay, this is important, and I want you to look right now on the screen. You can see that PenFed offers a constellation of products, a constellation of services, a constellation they have a lot of things. And what you want to do, you want to be very strategic here. You want to deepen your connection to the institution. How do you do that? Do you see the first column to your left where it says checking? You want to open a checking account. You can open a free checking or Access America checking or other checking accounts and other checking accounts. So that's number one. Number two, you want to open a savings account. Obviously, when becoming a member, you need to actually fund a savings account with $5 anyway. So what you want to do is you want to beef up the savings account. You can choose here. You can see premium online savings, regular savings, money market savings, and they have other types of products. Next, you can see in the middle, you have certificates. So here you have money market certificates, Coverdell education certificates, and other certificates. The bottom line here is that if you have the cash, if you have extra cash that you want to park in a savings account or in a CD, go ahead and just open another one. So if you have at least 2 or 3 deposit accounts, that's fantastic. And you can see also that PenFed offers IRAs, so individual retirement accounts. So they have IRA certificates, IRA Premier, IRA savings accounts, and other types of IRAs. So the bottom line here is what? You want to beef up your relationship with what am I saying? You want to beef up your relationship with the PenFed, and by opening multiple accounts with them. Obviously, I'm not asking you to do this because you want to get a credit card approved. No, you need to do this because you like the institution. You believe that they're a good credit union for your business needs or your personal needs. Okay, and you also can actually increase your history with PenFed by signing up with the PenFed Wealth Management. Obviously, this requires some levels of wealth. If you have some ka-ching, you want to really park, and you can actually contact the PenFed Wealth Management Group. Now I want to talk to you about the application, folks. This is the last step if you want to get this credit card. We're speaking about the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card, and if you have a FICO score of a 600, that's the minimum. And one thing you need to understand is that when it comes to the application process, PenFed does not offer soft pulls for this credit card. So you need to do your own soft pull at the branch. You need to actually go to the branch. You need to have a conversation with someone in the credit card department or in the loan department. Okay, call a service rep or go to a branch. Ask questions, folks. Don't be shy. You can ask them, how can I possibly qualify for, based on my FICO and other financial information. Okay, the goal here is to get intel from the rep. You want to know exactly how much they're going to approve you for, how much limits you can expect for your credit card, what do you need to get this card, because there are criteria that some of them are published on the website, some are not published. Okay, you also need to ask them what the APR could be on this card if you were to be approved. Are there any fees you should be aware of? If you remember earlier, I was telling you, at the very beginning of this show, I was talking to you about the card details. You need to familiarize yourself with the card details. Now it's the time to actually ask further questions so that you can solidify your knowledge already of this card, okay? And so there are other things you need to pay attention to. If for any reason you get rejected for this card, let's say the first time you apply, PenFed does not approve you, there are things you can do. Do not panic, do not worry, do not despair, okay? Hope is wonderful. You need to do things a little differently. Make sure that you review and evaluate your credit score. I've given you here, there are sources of free FICO score access. You don't have to pay for them. Okay. Trying to have steady income. It's important to establish sources of steady income, not just one, but multiple ones. You need to know the age requirements. Just make sure that you're 18 or 21, depending on the states you're applying from. You want to actually research and compare credit card options. Maybe this card is not for you, or you could find a better card. You don't have to get this card necessarily, okay? And you can even consider a starter credit card. Let's say your credit score is like 550 or 575, and you're having a hard time getting this card. Go for a starter credit card. We have covered on this show a lot of credit cards, from fintech credit cards to secure credit cards that are starter credit cards. And you also have unsecured credit cards that allow you to build credit or rebuild credit, okay? And please do not apply for too many cards at once, and try to maintain a low debt to income ratio. This is important. All right, that's it today for today's conversation, folks. I was talking to you about the PenFed Power Cash Visa, the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card, how to apply and get approved, even if you have a FICO score that starts at 600. Think about the card details, your FICO score, eligibility requirements, your DTI and CUR, your history, your NPR, and your application process. Thank you so much, folks. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.